What's up, guys? Looks like we're live. Let me make sure this thing catches up and make sure we are set before I start talking about the topic today. And this is going to be one of those videos where it's like nonstop, um, nonstop, just steps you must take before you start selling on eBay. I get emails all the time, newbies that are just starting out, people that have just been selling for about a couple of months, and we're going to be talking about all the steps you must take before you even start selling on eBay. So I'm not going to do any shout outs, not going to do any of that stuff until the very end of this whole thing so we can get nonstop information and you can listen to this entire thing. If you're catching the replay or you're watching it live, we can do the full thing. So nonstop. So let's start off with number one. When you're first starting off, you have to set goals and you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why do I want to sell on eBay? Do I want to do this because I need to pay off student loans? That was my number one reason, to really catch up on that. Are you doing this because it seems cool? Everybody else is doing it. You want to jump in. You want in on the action. You don't want to miss out on anything. Do you have goals that you eventually want to reach, as far as like, I want to quit my job. I'm tired of everything that I'm doing here. Eventually, I want to leave this and I want to sell on eBay because, I don't know, it looks cool. So that's one of the problems, though, when setting the goals and kind of thinking about this in the mindset, because it's not as easy as you probably think it is. And especially seeing Instagram photos and stuff, people posting hauls and people selling stuff, you're like, okay, I want in. It's not really that easy. So you have to set your own personal goals on why you're doing this, why does it make sense, and why you want to jump into the action pretty much. Number two, learn how eBay works before you start selling. So it's kind of funny because the emails that come in are like, man, I want to be just like so and so, or just like this person. I want to sell these things from these certain stores, but they don't really know how eBay works. So once they start, they sell their first item and they're just completely lost. So learn how eBay works before selling. So I would buy a couple of items. This is going to do two things. It's going to help you with the feedback, because feedback is going to be super key in this whole thing, growing that. But at the same time, when you get these items, what kind of shipping label did they use? How much did that cost? What kind of boxes did they use? Whatever you ordered, if it's something small, something big, did they pack it right? How can you learn from these items that you just ordered on eBay? I tell people, like, learn how to buy before you learn how to sell, because there's people that jump in, don't have a PayPal account, don't really know about best offer, buy it now, looking at sellers' feedback and buying the right items, buying from the right person. So that kind of happens first, and then they're lost whenever they jump in and wanting to sell items. So really learn eBay and the language of eBay before you jump in. Number three, definitely don't spend money on inventory right away. I know Ross finds look cool, Ross finds of the week, try to get you motivated, riled up, Marshalls and friends and family deals on Nike, but really everything in your house is ready to go, because there's items that you don't even use anymore. There's items that are just sitting that you could possibly make money on. Go to the garage. If it's a mess, then you can do your own treasure hunting in your own house before you go out there in the thrift stores and other stores and spending money. Because for the most part, when you're jumping into eBay, not everybody has, I don't know, unlimited capital, or at least 20 grand, 10 grand, 5 grand. That's not the case for the most part. When I started, I had $500 to use, and it took me a while to even save up that 500 before I could even really start spending a lot of money. So even then, I was pretty cautious in the 500 that I had. So I started off with the thrifting, with the garage sales, Ross finds and things like that kind of started coming on slowly, but I really just didn't want to spend that much money right off the bat, spending, $49 for shoes, $59 for shoes. It was just like, I don't know if I can really spend that money right now. So if I could buy something low, $1 to $5 at thrift store garage sale and flip that 30, 40, 50, and a lot of the slower, little finds, $10, $15, then I would definitely go for that. But in this case, you don't even need that type of money first. Go around your house, find stuff. Even I think someone else was like, Yeah, I can ask my parents. They have a bunch of stuff laying around. Hey, mom, you need this anymore? Can I sell this? Hey, dad, do I need this anymore? You can even kind of throw it out. Hey, I'll help you out by getting rid of this stuff. Pay me, or I can get a little small cut if it does sell on eBay for things that they want to get rid of. So you can start off with that and move forward. Another thing with that, though, if you're starting off with like Kobe's and Jordans and things, it's like high-end stuff. You have zero feedback. More than likely, people are probably going to skip over you. Then really don't have that trust in you yet. eBay may also question you, how you're just starting off with high-end items. So for the most part, it's good. Start off low, build the feedback, get some cheaper, lower-end sales in, and then you can build it up. The next one, number 4. So what will I need to sell? We're talking about basic supplies, tape, boxes, labels, or printer, computer. Are doing it with the app. And supply stuff really starts to catch up to people in the very beginning because they sell that first item and they're like, oh man, I don't have a box to use. Now I got to go hunt one down, go to the dumpster, try to find one, go to back of Walmart and try to find some boxes around. You don't want to be hunting down boxes. You want to have a system in place, but that's going to take some time. But at least know, hey, shirts, clothing, this will go good here to ship this off. Shoes, I could probably put these in these boxes. I can find these boxes at work. I used to get boxes from work because they used to have just recycling boxes nonstop. They would order a bunch of office supplies. So I had boxes there that I would just use when I was sending out random items. At this point, it's kind of streamlined to where clothing, shoes, kind of the very similar items. But at the time, garage sales, thrifting, it was more of like the random stuff that I wanted to just sell. I needed random size boxes, and my workplace could do that. So I had boxes from there. So make sure you have that ready to go. Tape. Walmart has them for like $1 or something if you want to get tape there. I probably wouldn't go all out and spending, a bunch of money on tape anyway. You really want to just go use what you can. If you're using Priority, you can use their free tape when you go to the post office. So you're really learning the basic supplies. You don't even really need like a lighting set and different things like that. You really just need the basics just to get something going, and then you can slowly improve by the lighting, by this random workbench thing that I have, and different things that will help you, and of course for storage. So we're going to talk about storage. That's later on, of course, but number 4 was, of course, the supplies, getting used to that. Number 5, how do I ship? How do I list? What's the best way to take photos? And all of this is free on YouTube. I mean, you don't have to go out and spend money on a bunch of videos and books and guides. And I don't know what else is out there. A lot of this free stuff on YouTube. You can learn, take advice and little tips and tricks from other sellers already out there. Write stuff down, put stuff together on a spreadsheet, and take these tips. That's what really kind of helped also to see. I think at the time, though, when I was really trying to get into the thrifting garage sale stuff, I think only Rake and Profit and Bonafide Hustler were the only ones out that I was really kind of learning from and looking up to and contacting them, and part of the green room. I was like 50 something member. So I was getting into that more and more and more, trying to learn once like FBA came out, because they were more into that as they gradually grew out of the kind of the eBay stuff. But there's a lot of videos, a lot of good people out there that you can watch, listen, and learn on shipping and listing and all of that. Number 6, so determine your niche. This was kind of tough to really try to figure out what I wanted to get into, because for the most part, it was kind of random. I really sold Coach purses in the beginning, like garage sales. Look up Craigslist, seeing what was out there. Try to get garage sales early. They were selling purses. They were selling video games, N64, Super NES, regular, original Nintendo games and systems. So we were kind of targeting, me and my friend, these certain items. And while we were there, then we started finding random, those Disney statues, snapback caps, jerseys, used shoes. What else did we kind of start selling in the beginning? Most of those items. And so we kind of like built that kind of niche more and more into the video games, less and less into like the Coach purses and things like that, more and more into shoes and then jerseys and things that I really kind of knew that was my niche. So what do you have knowledge in that you can start off with? More than likely you like something more than other items and random stuff. You really like sneakers. You can start off there. You don't have to necessarily go to the Ross that we talked about. You can source, offer up, Facebook groups. People are often letting things go cheap. So you can kind of go through that and see. But if you're into women's clothing, then you should start off women's clothing, source for this kind of stuff, get it for cheap, get it listed. But you really have to find out what your niche is and what you really like. If you don't even like what you sell, I think it's going to be tough to really enjoy the process as it continues on, especially in the very beginning. Now, as you grow, you're going to learn more and more about other items, and then you can kind of perfect what you like to sell and what that niche is. Number 7. So how much capital do you have to invest? I told you I had like $500 at the very beginning. And I'm like, oh man, this is getting kind of tough. And then how much money are you going to put back into your business? How much money are you going to put into whatever else you had in mind? You're going to pay your student loans, your car loans, house payment. That balance is really, really tough in the very beginning. And most of it should go back into your inventory, because that's the only way you're going to be able to make money, double your money, triple your money, putting money back into your business. Let me go back. So how will you scale? That's another question you have to ask yourself. And that's going to be a tough question. So if you're selling an item, are you going to double up now and try to find more items? Or are you going to go for the cost wise, like, or actually what the sold was? So if you sold it for $20, are you going to try to replace that item with another $20 item, or are you going to go for another $40 item, $60 item? And a lot of it comes down to sourcing whatever you're finding in your area. So that could get tough, especially if it's a slow day, a slow week. You kind of have to catch up the next week or maybe even the week after that to replenish inventory and then to grow what you've already been selling and double up and triple up. So you got to think about scaling up. You don't really want to stay the same for a long time, but that's also, of course, down the road, 6 months, 8 months in plus, and how you're going to grow it. Number 8, this is crucial. Now, I think the last 3 are going to be really, really crucial and how you're going to really grow your eBay business and where you're going from here. Number 8, how much time can I commit to this new hustle? Are you going to treat it like a side hustle? Are you going to treat it like a business? What is it to you? This goes back to your goals. When do you plan on shipping? Where do you plan on sourcing? What time do you have to list? And if you have a full-time job, obviously this is going to get tough. And here's my example. So when I was working full-time at the university, during lunchtime, I would ship. We had a post office that they had for the university that was kind of like in the middle of campus. So during lunchtime, I would eat and then I'd walk over there, ship off all my stuff, and I was good. I didn't have to go after work. Now, after work, it would take me like 30 to 40 minutes to drive all the way back to east side of town because I worked on the west side of town. So it'd take me a while. And instead of, wasting time in traffic, I would go sourcing. I would go work out and then go sourcing immediately after work. So I stayed on the west side of town. I went to Savers, Goodwill, and eventually started adding, Ross and Marshalls and Burlington onto that. And then once I got home, it was roughly about, 7:30, 8 p.m. Then I would eat something real quick and then shipping. Shipping for the next day. And you can also kind of figure that out, what works for you, because maybe you don't have a car. Maybe you have to take the bus. Maybe you and your wife, maybe one person drives, the other one doesn't. You have to figure out that system. When do you plan to list? When do you plan on shipping? Can you make it to the post office? And you don't want to waste time. Traffic, big time waster. Like just waiting there 30 to 40 minutes. I was like, oh man, that's tough. And so I would go and stay on that side of town so I don't have to waste time in traffic on the freeway, figuring out these systems and how much time you have to commit. Saturdays usually was, wake up early, garage sale, and the flea market, things like that. So Saturday was open to sourcing, and Mondays, like Goodwill, have sales, have price. things like that. So you have to figure that out, what works for you. Number 9, where are you going to store your items? That's going to be key, and keeping them organized. Now, if you are Ken the Hustle Bee and you live in an apartment and you have shoes stacked up, do you have a system in place? Do you know where certain shoes are? Do you know where clothing is? It's not going to be like that for everybody. But when I lived with the parents, they had kind of like this sunroom area, and I would just throw everything in there when I immediately got it, and then I would go through it later on to clean it up, take pictures, wash clothing, or clean up items. So it's kind of like you have like an area where, hey, I just got this stuff. Then, I can list the stuff the next day, but here's the stuff that's pending. Here's the stuff that I have organized, and I know where I can get it from. Clothing is here. You have racks or something if you want to do that. Storing up shoes. So kind of having that, where you can go and get these items from. And if you don't have the space for it, things are going to get crazy pretty quick. And stuff like stuff all over the floor. You see it all the time, like on Craigslist photos, right? Someone's like, hey, I'm selling these cleats. And there's just on top of like, your bed or sheets all over the place. Things are all dirty. Your underwear is right next to like cleats you just took a picture from. You don't want that. You want to look clean. You want to look organized. You want to make sure you have enough space to not only take photos, space for your items. And when you grow 50 items, 100 items, 200 items, 1,000 items, where are you going to put all these things? And some people also go the route of getting a storage unit. Now that's also going to cut into your expenses and what you're going to have to do for that, and your profit margins, how you're going to keep track of those payments, and also driving to the storage unit if it's close to you, not close to you, and figuring that out, which leads into the last one, number 10, keeping track, cost of goods, supplies, mileage, shipping, your bookkeeping. Are you doing free shipping or not? How does that go into your bookkeeping? And paying taxes, of course, that comes into play. Man, this one is key, because if you're not doing the proper bookkeeping, then you probably don't know if you're really making money or not. Of course, the numbers look cool. Maybe you sold something for $100. You got the shoes for $49.99, $39.99, $29.99. What do the fees look like? How much time and effort and money did you put driving, to this location? Maybe you have a cool little route now in your city. You're not wasting a lot of gas, you're not wasting a lot of money. That helps you out. But are you keeping track of these things? And I have the spreadsheet. Not everyone, but a lot of people have asked me for it. I've sent that over. A lot of people have been using it, but for the people that haven't been using it, I've gotten emails from people that are like, I'm not going to lie to you, Glenn. I just haven't been keeping track of my sales, of the fees, and how much I've really been spending on items. Right when I get something, I go home and I toss the receipt. Like, I really don't care about that. Get rid of it. I know how much I paid for it. And then when it sells, then cool, I'll deal with it then. It's the worst. If you're trying to catch up at the very end of the year, going back January, February, March, April, May, all of those months and everything that you sold going back, you're not going to remember. If you're not keeping track of these things, you're not going to remember how much you paid for Kobe 10s in January and it's December. Things are going to get lost. And that's where you're like, I don't even know how much money I really make. Don't even know about my return on investment. And then supplies too. If you're buying tape, if you're buying a scale, workbench, lighting, down the road, you have to keep track of all these things, and it gets out of control if you're completely lost. And that's when I try to help as much as I can, as much as possible when I get these emails. But when you have to try to go backwards, it's going to be extremely tough. And I just tell them, start off from here on out. Don't make these mistakes anymore. Keep track of everything you bought, even at garage sales, even at thrift stores, because they have asked, what if I just buy something at the flea market? It's $3. I don't have a receipt for this. You don't have to have a receipt for it. Keep a notebook or a log or something. Write these things down, the date, the time, when you bought these items at wherever you picked it up from, and keep track of these things every single day, especially if you're sourcing daily. This stuff can just get thrown out everywhere and you're just lost. So don't fall into this trap of no bookkeeping. So all right, those were the 10 steps you must take and things to keep in mind. Remember, it's not as easy as it seems. All over the interwebs, things can get tough. And I would definitely go these one by one. So, number one, set your goals. Why are you doing this? Number two, learn how eBay works before you start selling. So, you can buy items, you can research, do that on eBay before you start. Number three, don't spend money on inventory. Remember, you have items there in your house. You don't have to spend money right away. And build up that feedback because that's going to be key on selling items. Number four, think about it. What do I need to really sell and ship items? Think about the basic supplies that are out there. Number five, how do I ship? List. Best way to take photos. Educate yourself on YouTube videos. That's all over the internet, free. Number six, determine your niche. What do I like selling? What do I have interest in? What can I find and what's in my area? Everybody is different. So keep that in mind. Number seven, how much capital do I have to invest? Especially the very beginning, that's going to be tough. But as you grow, how will you scale? Number eight, how much time can I commit to this hustle? When should I ship? When should I source? When should I be listing items? Make sure you have some type of plan. You can build that up as time goes on, but you need a schedule. Number nine, where are you going to store your items? Keep them organized. You don't want that going crazy. And number 10, keep track of the cost of goods, supplies, and mileage. Remember, bookkeeping is going to be key. Make sure you are making money. All right, I'm done. I can breathe now. I can drink water now. Now let's go see who's in the chat. Girl on Fire and Jeff and Walking Faith Flips are here. And I'm pretty sure Hustlebee is here. All right, let me go back and see. Go back to the very beginning of the chat. So Alamo City Good Finds is here. Very nice. Hustlebee, we just saw Aaron, Dallas in the house. Nice. Let me go back. Christine, good to see you too. And where are we going? Walking Faith Flips. Okay, Hustlebee talking about Kansas City and stuff, which is coming up very, very soon. Juan, what's up? Scott Motion. And let me keep going on. Drummer, good to see you. Stephanie is also here too. All right, cool. Hustlebee, workout lies, right? That's the thing. Me and Hustlebee going out hustled. Definitely not working out. Working out, pumping iron, not in our game plan. Pure sourcing, pure eating. Let's see. Great info as always. Thanks. Appreciate it. What bookkeeping do you use? So I have my own spreadsheet. I can send that spreadsheet to you if you're in if you have a Google Drive, I can send that to you. I use my own spreadsheet. And what helps, at least on my end, is while I am packing items and I'm going to ship out the items and I'm going to have, putting in the dimensions, ship out the shipping label, and it's going to print out the label. While I'm doing that, I just put these items immediately into my spreadsheet. I don't have to remember, when I bought this item, what happened months ago. I have the cost of goods in a notebook here per day. I keep track of that stuff when I spent, how much I spent on certain items. So when it sells, I immediately do that and put that on my spreadsheet right then and there and ready to go for the month. So I can keep track of my expenses for the entire month and what the profits look like. I don't wait for the end of the week. I don't wait every 2 weeks. I don't wait for the end of the month. That very day, every day, keep track of what's sold and my profits for the day. And I can see what's going on for the month. Let me see. How many stores do you go per week? That's a good question. I try to go. So I have certain sourcing days, and usually on my route, I can hit at least like 8 to 10 different stores. And I don't have to really drive around and waste a lot of money on gas and figure the route. It's already there. I stick to that same route, and I try to go at least 3 to 5 times a week, depending on what else I have going on. So that route is good, especially in a smaller city. I don't have to do too much, but the bigger cities, like we go to Out Hustled and figuring the routes, depending on the city, it's like traffic's out of control, like Chicago and things like that. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna have to waste time waiting in here, or the next store isn't another 25 minutes away. Portland had way less stores, and in my area, literally like 3 to 5 minutes off the freeway, you can hit certain amount of Rosses already, and then just keep going up, go around, and then go back to my house. Let me see. Do you think with the World Cup coming up, there will be many soccer items popping up? Oh, definitely. And once teams start winning, then you can kind of jump on that on the sales. And if you have those certain items, you can make money on those. Let me see. I currently use Glenn spreadsheet. Awesome, easy to use. Nice, appreciate that. Don Hustle, what's up? Just started using Mile IQ this year. Yeah, that's a good. Yang uses that. So me and Yang do the Merch Minds podcast, and he's real big on the Mile IQ stuff. So he does that for the mileage. I use Stride for tracking mileage. There we go. That one's good too. Do you track Amazon and eBay sales separately? Do you keep one master spreadsheet? No, definitely separately. Even for merch, keeping track of that is also separate, because 1099s, we're going to get different ones from the FBA side, the merch side, the eBay side, or PayPal side, I should say. So different spreadsheets, different platforms. Keep track of that. What platform do you prefer to sell on the most, and why not set up your own website and sell directly like Paul can too? Seems like this is a good way to reduce headaches. What do you think? So at one point, if you go back into the YouTube channel, at one point I started selling jerseys on my own website, and I started to source, of course, locally, and also sourced on eBay. So once I got the notification on eBay that new items were, vintage jerseys and stuff were listed on eBay, I would try to go in quickly, buy these items, and resell them on my own website. Now, I could somewhat control my own market on my own website, because I would buy jerseys, let's say for like, I think a lot of the men's one, I would get them for like 25, 28, and then I could sell them my own website for like 60, like a Dennis Rodman, Jordan, Pippen, and sell those on my own website. And that did good. And I could really build it up, do that. I had my own business cards. I'd give those out too, and kind of, back and forth with my YouTube channel and show those. But then Merch by Amazon came out, and I was like, okay, either I'm going to stick with this, or I'm going to go for the full potential of Merch by Amazon, because this one, I don't have to buy any inventory. I don't have to ship anything out. I have a graphic design background. I can definitely move forward with this. So I dropped the website. I no longer have it. And then I just moved forward with Merch by Amazon. And then I went all in on that. And then, of course, merch doing great. So I don't have anything against anybody trying to do their own website. I do recommend it, though, because like we talked about, you're not really competing with everybody else. If you have your own technically fan base, clients, people that really like what you're doing and your website, technically you can kind of control that and not really falling back in with everybody else that's on eBay or Etsy or Poshmark or anything like that. So I do like it, do recommend it. But in my case, it was just like Merch by Amazon was just too great of an opportunity to pass up. So I left the site behind. Could I go back to it? Maybe. But merch is still alive and well. Let's see, someone come by my house and need help taking photos and listing. Mr. Afapino, he's hiring. Contact him. I don't know how much he's paying per hour, but you can contact him. Hustle B, headache, customer service, and marketing, site maintenance. So he's talking about having your own website and the things that come with that. Squarespace makes it pretty easy if you want to do your own website, and easy to maintain. Now, if you're taking credit cards, not through another site, and you're personally taking it through somewhere else, and you'll be able to keep track of that. Now, if you get hacked, things like that, yeah, it's going to be a huge headache. So, I mean, there's good things, bad things with, of course, everything that you decide to do, selling on whatever platforms, but you're taking the risk in e-commerce. That's the most important thing. And if, as long as you keep building it up, whatever you're doing, you're going to make money, and you're smart about it, then that's good. Take the risk on e-commerce. The time is now anyway. Glenn, do you mess with StockX? I don't. It's maybe something that me and Hustlebee could look into, but eBay, we've been all for it for a long time. eBay has been working. Goat, I have sent in the email to try to get approved for that. Whether I use it or not, I'm definitely going to look into it, but I don't know yet. StockX and Goat, Don't really know. Do you hire out for designs on merch? So for the first like 2,000 designs, I did it all on my own. And I, of course, loved every second of it. I really had to go into the zone in the very beginning of Merch by Amazon to figure it out. And I was trying to crank out at least 100 designs per week. But my brother, he's also a graphic designer. So now I've hired him to do designs for me. And then I do the trending designs, and I know I can just, go quickly on it. Hey, something's trending. Let me get a couple designs in. I can do that, upload it, and I'm cool. And my brother does more of like the niche based designs that I can look, deeper into the niches, ideas and stuff that I know he can do. And I could build up both niche side and the trending side. So that's really what I'm doing right now for Merch by Amazon. Let me see. Glenn, I'm doing 60K to 70K a month in gross sales. When do I start making a course? That's hilarious, Spider. That's hilarious. Or when do you want to start doing a Patreon? That should be the real question. Course, guides, conferences, right? Pay you 10, 20 grand for your appearance and kiss babies and all of that. Let's see, StockX and Goat are awesome. What advice can you give us? Tier 10. If you're in tier 10, I could tell you right now, you should be doing trending designs. You shouldn't really be focusing on the deeper niches because that's going to be harder to get into. St. Patrick's Day pretty much should be what you're focusing on right now because that's what's selling. That's what people are into. And me and Yang actually talked about this with like holidays or days that have to do with drinking alcohol will do well for you. So St. Patrick's Day is the next one. After that, I don't know, maybe like Cinco de Mayo or something. Drinko de Mayo, people call it different things. You can try to get some slogan and stuff based off of that. So April, you kind of have like a weird stage on what you're going to be focusing on. Easter is not a good t-shirt design slogan one to focus on. Easter won't work, but the other ones based off of alcohol drinking designs, you can do that, but definitely go trending on tier 10. You should be switching out designs that aren't working for you 3 to 4 weeks, roughly. If something's not really working there, 2 to 3 weeks, you could, but you also want to give designs plenty of time to really get into the system for people to find your items or your t-shirt designs. So switch them in and out, see what works. And if all else fails and nothing is working for you, you can buy your own designs, buy 10, try to get to the 25. But even at 25, you're really not focusing on money. You should be focusing on tiering up, getting out of 10, getting out of 25, even getting out of 100. Focus on money when you're at 500 tier plus. I think you have some room and some options to play with there. Let me see. Ahmed, hey, I made my first sale. When can I run YouTube ads for a free webinar and expensive courses? Oh, man, it's hilarious. Only 90s kids know the YouTube channel Magic Kicks. Some zombies. Let's see. Banged out 60 designs, but now I'm out of ideas. How did you overcome any droughts for designs? Man, there's millions of ideas out there, and I would definitely do research on other platforms, and you look at other designs and what other people are selling and what's working. So you don't really want to go out from your own head. What can I really think of? You really want to do the research. What are people into right now? What's selling right now? So Etsy, Amazon, whether it's merch or non-merch, Pinterest is going to be huge. Like Pinterest, there's so many different ideas on there. So sign up for that. Basic searches like teacher t-shirts, St. Patrick's Day shirts, St. Patrick's Day memes, St. Patrick's Day jokes. So things like that you can just start jotting down some ideas, get an open spreadsheet, 100 ideas, slogans. Then you can look it up on trademark, tmhunt.com or USPTO. Look up these trademarks and see what happens. Just keep coming up with new ideas and jot all these down and look up in the trademark. Out of all the stuff you sell, shoes, clothes, etc., what do you get the greatest ROI on? That's a good question. I would say number one would have been cleats. I mean, at the time, selling like the soccer cleats or the football cleats, like the untouchable TD, the fly knits that were at Burlington. I mean, those were selling at like 120, 130, 140 range. Hustlebee now selling them at like 180 range because he's like only one keeping 80 in stock. I mean, those are like huge ROI numbers. Another good example was me and Hustlebee went to Portland. We found some T-shirts. They were $12.99. I sold one today for 60. I mean, that's really good ROI on T-shirts that were that we found at the outlet. So could be clothing, could be cleats, but I don't know. I guess it's a mixture between those two. It's really hard to say. Let me see. Shopify and Big Cartel are good places. Paul can do sells thrift finds. He finds and gets prices from 10 to 199 depending on depending. He sells out quickly thanks to viewers from who buy from him. Yeah, Paul Kent too is also out of control as how many I mean his fan base is huge. I mean, when you have a fan base like that, that's where you really decide on making your own website or even selling your own t-shirts, things like that. Paul Cantu branded stuff if he wanted to. I've known smaller YouTubers that have branded stuff trying to sell. It doesn't move, but someone huge like him, I mean, you can sell a lot of different things and good fan base. Yeah, I really like what he's doing. What do you think of this seller's pictures? It's insane. I think he's doing it on purpose, but killing it. I can't post the link. That's going to be tough. Let me know. Send me the email, Spider. We can see. Just approved for merch. No graphics background. Any suggested YouTube videos? Texas Gal. Yeah, so Margaret, Texas Gal Treasures, friend of mine. She does really good videos. She doesn't have a graphic design background as far as like Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop, things like that. She started using PicMonkey and other just different apps and platforms out there that you can really make simple designs and do well on. I would definitely recommend her videos to really start on other platforms other than Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. Let me see. How do you advise getting out of 10 and any keywording advice for merch? And here we go. Now, you know what? Let's just forget this whole eBay title of this video. We're just getting straight into the merch stuff. Advice for 10. So I answered that one as far as just going strictly on trending designs. Any keyword advice for merch? Amazon search bar is there for a reason, and it's really, really good as far as coming up with ideas and also seeing what people are searching for. If they're searching for certain things, use the search bar. You can even type in basic terms. What are people looking for? These are the terms that you want to use. Merch Informer is also very good for Merch by Amazon keywords. They actually show on their Merch Hunter tab, they actually show the keywords that are common on like the top 25 to 50 designs in that particular niche. So think for like St. Patrick's Day, obviously those are going to be in there, but like leprechaun, luck, words like that, what are commonly used on these most, top selling shirts? Merch Informer does good on that. So if you want to sign up for that, it's technically it's pretty cheap for how much value it gives you. I didn't even start off using Merch Informer until like a year in, so it's not really needed, but there are some pretty good things about it. Have you sold shirts on Redbubble? How does it compare to Amazon and Etsy? Let me see. Let me go back up. So it's different because Amazon has the most organic traffic. I mean, how many people are buying products on Amazon every single minute is insane. So it's totally different. Redbubble, Yang has done good on that, but he's been kind of doing a little bit more Etsy. What I like about Etsy is that you can integrate with Printful and you can sell different things, not just t-shirts. You can sell like leggings and shower curtains and other random stuff in there. I like the Etsy Redbubble thing. I mean, Etsy integration with Printful thing. But the thing is that when someone buys shower curtains, you have to buy the item technically. Like they take the money from you and then you get the money back. It's different from merch. Merch is like, you don't have to pay anything. They don't have any fees, nothing like that. So, and you're going to get the most organic traffic from Amazon. I would definitely go Amazon, Merch by Amazon, then Etsy, then Redbubble, and some of the other ones out there. Have you found any more Supreme at Ross? No, I have not. Balkan has a bunch of followers, though. Yes, he does. Thank you for answering this. Isn't Photoshop a good choice for making designs for merch? Adobe Illustrator is going to be your best bet because you're dealing with graphics. You're dealing with vector art. You're not dealing with pixels. So in Photoshop, you're dealing with like pixels to, manipulate photos. It's not necessarily made for graphics. It's going to be way easier on Adobe Illustrator to design t-shirt designs, logos, etc. Picked up Kobe 10 Elevate for 74, sold less than 8 hours for $174.99. There we go. Highway 19 Designs, killing it. Do you cancel eBay sales on buyers with zero activity? I leave it open because I do have zero buyers that buy my items, buy it now and they pay immediately, and I don't have problems from them. Sometimes it'll happen, sometimes it won't. I'm not going to just eliminate them completely. Now, if a zero feedback sends me an offer, more than likely I'm going to deny them because I'll go into their profile. When did they make this account? Have they bought any other items? And maybe they just haven't gotten the feedback yet. If they just opened their account that very day or like 2 days ago, more than likely it's some type of troll out there trying to just get your your item off of there, and I just don't have time to deal with that stuff. So in that case, yes, but I leave it open. If they buy it now and they pay, cool, I'll take it. All right, let me see. Gotta do some scanning. I'm late. Can you summarize later your advice, buddy? Depends. Now we started talking about merch stuff, so things got kind of out of control. But you can definitely go back for the first part of this video. I go nonstop without answering questions. You can listen to that. Do you have help for your eBay store, or are you doing it all on your own? So I am doing it all on my own. This is one of the things that kind of sucks about traveling for Out Hustled, is because my wife doesn't help me or ship stuff for me or anything, or list stuff for me. Down the road, though, we've talked about it. If we have kids, that's what pretty much I think we'd both be handling the eBay business. But for right now, like when I went to Portland, I set my store on vacation mode. I still got offers. People still bought stuff, but I also got my top rated seller thing taken down because I could no longer do the 1-day shipping. I had to change it to 4-day shipping until I got back. You have to keep on kind of changing those listings before you get back into town. So I don't have the luxury, as can the hustle be, of having someone else helping out listing items and shipping items while I'm away. So I do it on my own, but that's cool. And I think down the road, me and my wife are going to eventually handle the business, the eBay business side of it, whenever we have kids, and we can figure that out and work from home. Zero feedback buyer requested eBay return. How to handle? I don't know. Did they open a case already? If they opened a case, then you're gonna have to go through that and figure it out on giving them their money back. And doesn't necessarily mean someone is going to scam you, but I would look into it. I would definitely just start off with the whole case opening. Don't do anything unless they're the ones that are opening a case first. Don't handle things outside of eBay. Don't handle things just on messaging. Go through the entire process. Let me see. If you don't like someone's listing, can you edit it or start a new one? Suggestions. Oh, on Amazon. You can make your own listing on Amazon, but they are also very picky on their photos. They want to make sure it's white background, looks clean. You can make your own listings and do that. It does take a little bit longer. That's why for the most part, when people are scanning items, they go with whatever the photo is already there, because they don't want to make a whole new listing and go through the trouble. But yes, you can. Where is it better to sell, in merch or Amazon FBA? So they're two totally different things. Amazon FBA, you're scanning items, or maybe you're into private label or wholesale. You're sending in physical items to the Amazon warehouse. Merch by Amazon, you're just designing t-shirts or hoodies, sweatshirts. If you're approved for that, you're just designing something you're going to put on the shirt. You upload it to Amazon, and once it sells, Amazon will not only get the physical t-shirt, they'll print on the actual t-shirt and they'll ship it out to the customer, and they follow through with customer service, and you get a royalty every time a t-shirt sells. Sounds good to, too good to be true, but that's the way it works. So really, if you're approved, get in on this now. Who knows, eventually down the road, it wouldn't surprise me if they open up their own seller central for Amazon and start charging $40 a month or something. Right now it's free to sign up and free to sell. So that's pretty crazy. Really enjoy the content. It's been really helpful, and I know I'm not alone wondering when you're going to set up a Patreon or something where I can support. I only need, this is from Marlon, the only support I need is to visit me and Ken the Hustlebee when we go to our meetups, and I can meet you in person. We can hang out and talk. And watching my videos and following us on Instagram and all that, that's the support I need. I don't need your money. And I've gone through like all of these things too, where people are like, when are you going to make Hustler Hack shirts? When are you going to do Hustler Hacks this and that? And I'm like, I like doing the giveaways right now. I have bags and things and my lanyards, and I do free giveaways, and I like doing that kind of stuff. Later on, will I make shirts? I don't know, maybe. It's not really in my I guess in my game plan right now, but yes, support us if we're in your town. That's pretty much how I can say. How the heck do you do all this? Do you sleep? I actually get plenty of sleep. I need the sleep. If I don't get the sleep, I will go crazy. So I think it just all comes down to time management. And me and Ken Hustlebee have talked about this, driving to different city. We've talked about this even on live shows. There's a lot of platforms out there right now. eBay and Etsy and Poshmark, Amazon FBA, and I want to do wholesale, and I want to do private label. You have to focus on one first. When I started off, all I did was eBay, and of course I worked at my full-time job, but that didn't really count because as soon as I was out of the office, I was just in full eBay mode. Like I didn't even care about the office job. I just wanted to get out of there, focus on eBay. And when that was the case, I was just just fully invested in that. I didn't think about YouTube, didn't think about Amazon, nothing else. Now, once I got comfortable in that and I built it up, I felt good about the numbers. I knew what I was doing. I had consistent sourcing and listing. I was like, okay. And I paid off my student loans because that was my main thing. Now I felt like I could give back and try to help other people. Now I brought on YouTube. So now I was like YouTube, eBay. And now, okay, now I can, kind of balance these out. And then eventually I talked about, my own private website. I did the jersey thing. So now I had like a mixture of things. I started to, and that was doing okay. And it was kind of really like cross listing with eBay anyway. So it wasn't really like a lot of time invested into this if I could just take the same pictures. And in that case, FBA came out and I was trying to do that. So now I was like, okay, well, I'll take on this now and do a little bit here. And then when I did FBA, I noticed that my eBay was just, started going down a little bit. YouTube at the time, I was only doing like one video a week. So it wasn't like I was going all in anyway, because that's all I could really do. I felt like I sounded stupid making videos. Seeing myself on camera was weird. Listening to myself was weird. So I didn't just go all out. I had to start from somewhere. And then, okay, well, obviously now this merch by Amazon thing is new. I need to take advantage. And then I dropped the other one. And then I went all in there. And then my eBay numbers started to struggle a little bit. And then now I got the hang of merch. Now I brought up the eBay back up. Now I was able to take on more for YouTube. So time management and managing different platforms, but just knowing that you have to start on one first. Don't go trying to do everything all at once until you feel comfortable, until you build up the business and you feel good, you feel happy about it, you know what you're doing, and it's consistent, and not just consistent for 3 months, 4 months, consistent for like 2 years. eBay had signed up in 2001, but I didn't get serious until like 6 or 7 years ago. And once I felt good and happy about it, I was all right. Now I can bring on YouTube and feel like I can help others. Because trust me, I get those emails all the time. Glenn, I want to do vlogging. I want to do YouTube. I want to do merch. I want to do eBay. You're just going to end up doing nothing. And that's where it starts getting out of control. Focus on one, get comfortable, build it up, then go on to the next. All right, now I'm like super super behind. All right, let me see. Um Grant is a Glenn is a great guy, even carrying the B. That's funny. Let me see. I don't think he can carry me too heavy. What are your newbie tips? Don't eat Cheetos when taking measurements of clothing. That's pretty funny, right? We hibernate, yes. Supreme out hustle. That's from Hustleby. When is New York out hustled coming? That's a good question. We're trying to look at like DC area, maybe Philly, and eventually we can get to the New York area. But Florida is guaranteed in April. If you're in Florida, we will be there. And Tampa, Orlando, Miami. Let me see. I'm in Houston. Hopped on Hustler X YouTube after y'all had done it. That's from Marlon. We're gonna go back. Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio. We have to do the entire thing because we didn't do San Antonio either, and we didn't do Austin. We didn't do any of those hangouts, or we didn't even visit those cities when we went. So now we got to go do all of those. That'll be Texas later on this year. We'll definitely do it again. People are so used to snakes in the reseller community, it's hard to see a genuine dude. That can also get tough too. And I know that's also like a big thing when it comes to the reseller community stuff. And that's something that, me and the Hustle we want to change. We don't want the snakes and things like that. And that's one of the, I've said this before, one of the biggest compliments I've ever gotten in person was in person when I do the meetups is I feel like I know you and you are very relatable and I feel I can just talk to you. And that's the way that it should be, because if I was some type of big shot and I, seemed to be that way, or I felt that I was, and I couldn't even talk to any regular people, then what am I doing? What's the whole point of this thing? So to me, that was a big compliment because that's the way that it should be. And I get to be myself in person at these meetups, and that's what I also like about it. It feels comfortable for me. Like I don't have to like pretend to be anything else that I'm not, because I'm just who I am. And so when I go to the meetups and I meet people, I'm like, okay, well, here I am, the same guy you already saw on YouTube and not anything else. So that's what I'm saying for the support wise. That's what I like too, is everybody that comes out is always super cool. And it's the best part about Hustled is the meetups and meeting everybody. It's really, really cool, especially people that you meet and talk to, or that you talk to in the DMs, you see them in the chat, you talk to them, you see them in the comments, you see them in person. It's a totally different ballgame. Let me go up, man. Let's see, anything that I missed? Let me see. Orlando. Oh yeah, the Girl on Fire. I know we talked about that thing. We're gonna have to talk more on that Girl on Fire, because Orlando, we are super thrilled and pumped for that. Will you be in Atlanta anytime soon? I'll be in Florida beginning of April. What dates will you be there? April, we're gonna be there the 24th, 26th. I don't know. It's around that time, but definitely it's like the last week of April. So you have plenty of time. So that would be cool. And Atlanta is definitely on the radar. So that might be like late summer, but Atlanta is definitely going to be in there. Should I keep stored post office receipts to keep track of miles for taxes, or go with the mile tracker app? I'll definitely keep track of all that stuff, because you're gonna have to need to know the mileage when you're going to the post office. I like to get receipts when I go to the post office. It was kind of funny, actually kind of cool. They let me just scan my own items. They gave me the at the post office, because I'm there every day, but I don't like just dropping them off sometimes, because I have had some instances where like a package went missing. Good thing it was a first class one. It wasn't anything that super important. And so it didn't go out of control, but I usually just stay in line, scan the items. I get a receipt. Of course, eBay likes that too, because they can see that it's in the post office's hands and not yours, and not just like this pre-shipment stuff. It's actually with them now. So I like to do that. And I can, now the post office has gotten cool. I can scan my own items in, and they just print out the receipts for me. So I like that, but keep track of all that kind of stuff. Maryland. There we go. Yeah, so we're also gonna do DC. Where are we? Angel says last go to Maryland. So there we go. Washington, DC, DC, Philly, work our way up. We're gonna figure that out. Do you keep track of your mileage? You have to set up. You don't have to set up an LLC. You can be sole proprietor. You can figure that out too. Hustlebee, he's an LLC. He went straight business thing from the beginning. You can try to figure out what works for you. But if you're just starting out, this is the thing too, though. eBay may not be for you, and that's okay. Merch may be for you. Maybe Etsy is for you. Maybe Poshmark is for you. But if one of them isn't for you, that's okay. You don't have to feel like you're left out or that you have to do something because everybody else is doing it. And I think this is one of the things too where people, I guess, they see certain videos post, they see the Ross finds, they see Marshall's finds, and they want to try it. And we've talked about this also before, is like, I've seen people come in and out like 3 or 4 months and they're gone. Hey, what happened to reselling? It got kind of tough. Oh, I started doing this now. The full-time job got me. The family, the more time and effort. So, I'm not really doing that right now. And so, I mean, things come up and that's fine though. I mean, you don't have to be this, built up eBay warrior out there. Maybe it's not for you and that's cool. Find something that does work for you. Maybe that is your full-time job. Maybe that is your career. Maybe that is another platform out there, but you have to figure out what is it that you like to do. And if you don't like doing it, you're not going to succeed. You're going to hate it. And then things are going to slowly fall apart. And you're probably going to see more and more, people that maybe you talk to or DMs or Instagram, Facebook and stuff. Maybe they disappear. Maybe they come back. Maybe they don't. Maybe reselling wasn't for them. And that's fine. It's not going to be for everybody. Let me see. Hustlebee, I was just in Atlanta. There we go. Mr. Avapino, going to Cece's Pizza. There we go. Eat a couple of slices for me. Mr. Avapino, I don't know. He's probably already gone, but we'll see if we get to see him in Florida because I think he's more in the Jacksonville area. Hustlebee, were you sourcing in Atlanta or just hanging out? That boy might have been sourcing. He might have been eating. He might have been enjoying the restaurants, the scenery. But he's traveling a lot. He's driving, on his own. Him and the wife, they go and drive different outlets 5 hours away, 3 hours away. You don't know where this guy is. Where's Waldo out there? Who knows what's going on? All right, I think we're done. Any last questions before we go? How long? Oh yeah, this is already almost an hour, so that went by kind of quick. Let me know any last questions, and of course, next week same stuff. Going on track now that I'm doing videos 5 or 6 times a week. It's been pretty good, pretty consistent, and I like that. Things have been growing, things have been good for the channel, so I like putting out some more content. But like I talked about it in the very beginning, it was definitely not like that. Even with my old name, Mad Cheap Kicks, I was only doing shoe videos. I didn't even talk, didn't show my face. Like I said, I didn't like the way I looked, didn't like the way it sounded, so I only showed shoes, and that was shoes that I found at Ross, and then slowly made my way into showing my face and voice. So that's not for everybody, but it will get easier as time goes on if you want to do a YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Girl on Fire, Christine, Drummer, thanks all for being here. Jeff, thanks always being here, supporting the channel. Walking with Faith Flips and Marlon Good, and appreciate it. Gold, silver, diamonds. Mimi's here also. David and Alex, appreciate it too. So yeah, thanks guys for watching this video. Thrifty Treasures getting in last minute, nice. And bread toast dough. That's a good one. Should we get a little vote on what they like? Let's see. I'm thinking what should I keep? Could be selling them, but I don't know. Would you keep gold toes? There you go. Or would you keep bread toes? Which ones do you like more? Let me know in the chat. I was really like, oh man, I think I should keep both of them. They're both my size. And I was like, I could probably sell some other stuff that I haven't really worn to make up for this and treating myself, for the shoes. But let me know. So bread, gold, bread, red, gold, gold. Yeah, the golds are nice. But I kind of have this weird like phobia of like getting them dirty and creasing them. But they do seem way easier to clean though. So that could help just in case. There we go. Let me know. And Green Granny Resell said keep both. I like that answer. I think we are going to have to keep both. All right, last thing. We are going to be in Kansas City. We're going to try to figure something out. If you're in Kansas City area, that's the thing though, is that we're doing this conference, but I haven't really gotten like a lot of Kansas City people as far as like maybe its own private out hustle to where we can hang out. I think it's just whoever's going to be at the conference, but I don't know too many that are actually living in Kansas City and want to do a hangout. But if you are, let me know. Email me, hustlerhacks1@gmail.com. If not, you're going to be there for the conference, then cool, we can meet up there. And that's coming up in like 2 weeks. And Florida, I will let you guys know when it's available on my website to sign up for those meetups. And that'll probably be in the next week or so we can get a good rough number on Orlando, Tampa, and Miami, home of the Dolphins. All right, see you guys. Go out and get it.